It's great to be here. Hi. Okay, well, I'm not supposed to be alive, so here I am. And because I almost died, I had a near-death experience, basically. My friend thought that was interesting enough to call her friend Jane Brody from the New York Times to write an article about. She writes the Well Blog, which I used to follow religiously for years. So, who doesn't want their name in the Well Blog in the New York Times, right? So I get this phone call from Jane Brody, and this is last February. So she goes, so tell me what happened. So I said, well, I went with my partner to Venice, Italy. My partner's here tonight. She can vouch for all of this. And I didn't feel so good on the plane over. And it's a 9-hour flight. So I got up about 3 hours. They turned out all the lights in the airplane. And I felt violently ill. And I said, this isn't happening to me. I got out of my seat and I violently threw up in the bathroom. So then I went back to the stewardess and I said, I think I have food poisoning. Can I have something? And they gave me this huge blue bag. And I'm like, no, could I have a barf bag? So I went in the bathroom and I grabbed 20 barf bags. And that was the smartest thing I ever did in my whole life. Anyway, I was really sick and I was, everyone was asleep and I was like, and my partner didn't even know this was going on. I was like, why am I going to wake her? She can't do anything. So we get to Venice, and so we take an hour and a 15 boat ride in choppy waters to our Airbnb, which has, as you know, does not have a concierge. So I get there, and I'm just throwing my guts up, and I'm like, oh my God, that tuna sandwich was not so good. I'm never eating at that place again. So we get there, and our host is a little concerned because I'm like, oh yeah, oh. And, I'm just a mess, and I was so glad to get to the Airbnb. I can't even tell you. So we get there, and I'm like, yeah, be fine. So 3 days later, I'm still in the same horrible condition. I have not seen a single thing in Venice. I've seen the ceiling from my bed. I haven't even taken a shower. I haven't even brushed my teeth. I was too sick to stand up. So my partner's like, we gotta get to a doctor. And I'm like, I don't speak Italian. I don't want Italian medicine. I don't want to wind up in an Italian hospital. And you go home and I'm still in the Italian hospital, So I honestly thought it was food poisoning. And then around day 5, I thought, well, maybe it was that flu shot I got. I should have gotten that. Maybe I had food poisoning and the flu. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I didn't see anything in Italy. And by the way, the Biennale was going on. And the funny thing is that she went to the Biennale. It happened that a friend of hers was there. She went there and she took a picture of a sculpture, of a sculpture puking in a toilet. And I'm like, that's how, it's life art performance. That's me. So anyway, we go back to the United States. Because I didn't spend any money there, because all I ate was ice, we took a private boat taxi to the airport, and it was zipping along. It was the only time I sort of saw Venice in between barfing the bags. And my partner almost got her head lopped off by one of those low bridges, and I was like, oh great, now she's gonna be decapitated and I'm gonna have to fly alone. But anyway, we get on the plane, which wasn't so easy because I don't think they like sick people on planes. And I knew I wasn't contagious, but you don't want to be told, oh, you look green and you can't get on the plane. So I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Anyway, so we get on the plane, 9 hours. All I did was the same thing I did on the flight over. So I looked at that little plane on the back of the tray, and I was like, we're getting closer. So 9 hours of that. We get off the plane, we get a taxi, and my partner says, we're going right to the hospital. And I'm like, I have to take a shower. I have to brush my teeth. This is horrible. I smell like I don't know what. I didn't have a shower the whole time. I couldn't stand up. She's like, no, we are going to the hospital right now. Anyway, get to the hospital. 5 hours later, they say, oh, and the hospital's a whole story, but anyway, 5 hours later, they say, your appendix ruptured. It was bad. I was amazed at my, I'm a distance swimmer, and I can tough it out. Anyway, so I'm telling Jane Brody this story, and Jane Brody's like, oh my God. Anyway, so she says, I'm gonna write this up. So I'm waiting weeks and weeks for this thing to appear, and I'm like, every morning I wake up, I'm like, is it in the New York Times? Is it in the New York Times? So one morning I wake up, March 21st, a day that will live in infamy. It's in the New York Times, and it says, and I thought, maybe my name will be mentioned, and maybe it won't be, Anyway, it starts out, Gwen Deely did exactly everything wrong that you could possibly think of.